Group C of the 2014 FIFA World Cup consisted of Colombia, Greece, Ivory Coast, and Japan. Play began on June 14 and ended on June 24, 2014. Teams, notes. Standings: Colombia advanced to play Uruguay in the round of 16. Greece advanced to play Costa Rica in the round of 16. Matches: Colombia vs Greece. The two teams had met in one previous match, in a friendly in 1994, where Colombia won 2-0. Colombia midfielder Freddy Guerra was suspended for the match, after being sent off in the team's final qualifier against Paraguay. Colombia took the lead within 5 minutes. Juan Cuadrado's cutback was converted by Pablo Amaro via a deflection off Greek defender Kostas Manolas. Colombia extended the lead in the second half, when Abel Aguilar flecked on a corner kick from James Rodriguez and T-cubed Philo Goucher copywriter REZ scored from close range. Greece's best chance fell to the Ofanis Geekas, who headed against the bar. In stoppage time, Cuadrado set up Rodriguez to complete the scoring with a low shot. The 3-0 scoreline was Colombia's biggest win to date in the World Cup. Ivory Coast vs Japan. The two teams had met in 3 previous matches, all in friendlies, most recently in 2010. Japan took the lead in the first half, when Keisuke Honda collected a pass from Iyuto Nagatomo after a quick throw-in to strike home. However, Ivory Coast came back with 2 goals in 2 minutes in the second half. First, Wilfred Bony headed in from Serge Aurier's cross, followed by a Govinu header from another cross from Aurier. With his goal, Honda became the first Japanese player to score in 2 World Cups, and also claimed sole possession of being the top Japanese scorer in World Cup history with 3 total goals. Colombia vs Ivory Coast. The two teams had never met before. After a goalless first half, Colombia scored first when James Rodriguez headed in Juan Cuadrado's corner. The lead was extended 6 minutes later when Ivory Coast was caught in possession, and T-cubed Philo Goucher copywriter REZ released substitute Juan Quintero to score. Ivory Coast reduced the deficit through Govinu, who received a pass from Arthur Boca in the left wing, dribbled past 3 Colombian players and shot home. The second goal of the tournament by Rodriguez allowed him to join Bernardo Riedel and Adolfo Valencia as the only Colombian players to score more than 1 goal in the World Cup. Japan vs Greece. The two teams had met in one previous match, in the 2005 FIFA Confederations Cup group stage, won by Japan 1-0. Greece was reduced to 10 men in the first half when Kostas Katsarenis was booked twice in 11 minutes. In the second half, Greece had Ofanis Geekas header saved, while Japan, which needed at least a point to stay alive in the competition, had chances to score through Yoshito Oekubo and Atsuto Uchida, but the game finished goalless. The result ensured Colombia's qualification to the knockout stage, their first since 1990. This was the first clean sheet kept by Greece in World Cup history. Japan vs Colombia. The two teams had met in 2 previous matches, most recently in a friendly in 2007, and also in the 2003 FIFA Confederations Cup group stage, won by Colombia 1-0. Colombia took the lead midway through the first half, with Juan Cuadrado converting a penalty kick after Japan centre-back Yasuaki Kono fouled Colombia striker Adrián Ramos in the box. Japan then equalized through Shinji Okazaki's headed goal from a cross from Keisuke Honda in first-half stoppage time. Colombia's James Rodriguez was introduced after the half-time break, and was credited for providing 2 assists for 2 goals scored by Jackson Martinez, on 55 minutes and 82 minutes respectively, before finishing off the scoring with a strike of his own, assisted by Ramos, at 90 minutes. Colombia, which had already qualified for the knockout stage but needed a point to be certain of winning the group, finished as group winners with a perfect record of 3 wins out of 3, while Japan, which had to win the match to have any chance to qualify, were eliminated. Farid Mondragon then became the oldest player to make an appearance in the history of the World Cup, at the age of 700143000000043 years, 7000300000003 days, when he came on for the last 5 minutes of the match, breaking the record of Roger Milla, who played at the 1994 World Cup at the age of 42. He also set the record for the longest time between World Cup appearances, as 15 years and 363 days had passed since his last versus England at the 1998 World Cup, breaking Alfred Bickel's record of 12 years between appearances. Greece versus Ivory Coast. The two teams had never met before. Greece midfielder Kostas Katsarenis and Ivory Coast defender Didier Zokora were suspended for the match. Greece, which had to win to have any chance to qualify for the knockout stage, went in front in the 42nd minute after Sheikh Shitakopi's defensive mistake allowed substitute Andreas Samaras to steal the ball, play a 1-2 with Giorgio Samaras, and run in on goal before shooting past the goalkeeper. In the second half, substitute Wilfried Bony equalized with a low finish after Govinu's pass from the left. As Japan were losing to Colombia in the other match played at the same time, Ivory Coast only required a point to qualify for the knockout stage for the first time. The game looked to be heading for a draw, until Greece won a penalty in injury time when Giovanni Sio tripped Samaras as he was about to strike the ball, and Samaras scored the penalty, hitting the ball to the goalkeeper's left. The win meant Greece finished as the group runners-up, and put them into the knockout stage for the first time in its World Cup history, while Ivory Coast were eliminated in the group stage for the third tournament in a row. References. External links: 2014 FIFA World Cup Group C, FIFA.com.